All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Yes, please. I'm sorry for the wait. My name is Greg Odell. I have the honor of being the president and CEO of Events DC, and we are so honored today to mark this monumental, and yes, pun intended, monumental day for all of us that is finally here. We're so happy to unveil what is going to be the hottest venue and certainly the newest venue in Washington, D.C., and that is the entertainment and sports arena behind me. Yes, please give a round of applause for that because many people work so hard to get here. So we were just chatting earlier. It's funny, though, how time has passed so quickly. I remember just yesterday when the mayor announced her bold vision for redeveloping the St. Elizabeth's campus at Congress Heights. I remember it just like it was yesterday when Brian Kenner, the deputy mayor, approached us, the Events DC board and our staff, about engaging us as a meaningful partner with the mayor and with Monumental for this amazing project. It seemed like yesterday when we had our first community meetings. Started off a little rough, but quickly, thanks to leaders like the former councilmember Ruby Bay, our councilmember Trayon White, our ANC leadership like Mary Cuthberg and others that I'll speak about, that they embraced the vision, but they also challenged us to make sure that there was meaningful participation from residents as well as the businesses. And I'm happy to report we met that challenge. 65% of the work performed on this job were with CVEs across the city. That's right. $10 million, businesses from Ward 7 and Ward 8 alone just on this project. But I also remember, like yesterday, where we spent countless hours looking at the program and the design to try to make for the budget that was allotted for this project. It was like yesterday, I remember the team working so hard, first with early foundations, then erecting steel, then enclosing the building, then the finish work, and then even the transition to operations. In fact, all that feels like it was last night, but I'm not complaining. I'll just say, for me, it's been an honor to work on this project, but I can't think of any time in history that, frankly, there's been an announcement and a vision, and within one term of a mayor that all that happened so quickly. So, Mayor, that's a testament to your leadership and your tireless ambition. Thank you so much for what you've done to bring us here today. I'd like to thank the City Council for all their deliberation and guidance to make sure that we went about this project in a responsible way. And I know Jack Evans is here. I see Brandon Todd is here. Kenny McDuffie is here. And also Trayon is here. Please give them a round of applause for their leadership as well. So with these occasions, there's always so many people to thank. And you always risk not mentioning everybody. So what I'd at least like to do is direct your attention to our program where we listed a special thanks to many people who made it happen, and I'd like to highlight just a few. From the communities I spoke about their passion, I want to reference and acknowledge our chairs, our ANC chairs, Troy Dante Presswood, Khadijah Watson, Mary Cuthberg, Olivia Henderson, Anthony Muhammad, and our single-member district, Sharice Crawford. Please give them a round of applause for leading all the community effort as well. I also want to mention and reference our community benefits agreement, the committee that formed this agreement. It was really critical to making sure there was buy-in from the community to support them, so please give them a round of applause as well. That's right. And from the development team's perspective, lots of hard work, tireless hours just to make this project right for the tenants and for the community that they're going to enjoy. So from our design build team, from Smoot Gilbane, Rossetti Marshall Moya, I'd like to acknowledge the principals and some of the senior team members, Mark Kane, Paul Shocott, Omar McIntosh, Emery Oxen, Bob Walcott, Dave Richards, Michael Marshall, Paula Moya, and biggest thanks to the floor generals, Mac Naimi and Jamon Smith and their team, who accepted failure was not an option for them and made it happen. So please give all of them a round of applause for the hard work to make it get it done. And from the district, and for many of you can tell, this project was a project within the project. So Deputy Mayor Kenner helped the mayor realize this vision for this campus. And so leading all the wonderful agencies to the great infrastructure project, he demands nothing but the highest praise for all that he's done and will continue to do to make sure that this campus is to fruition. So please give him a round of applause as well. And I should mention his floor general, which was Ed Fisher, who's the executive director for the St. Elizabeth's campus that made all the trains work as well. Please give Ed a round of applause as well. But there's more. All the district agencies also played their part. They guided us, but also worked proactively to make sure we got the permitting and all the regulatory issues resolved to make this project happen. We also should thank all the utility companies and all the other partners that really pushed to get the utilities there, to get power on the building as we needed or to this campus. So please give all of our district agencies as well as our utilities like Pepco, Washington Gas, and all of them a round of applause as well for making this project happen. Last but not least, and I apologize for all the thank yous, but they're necessary, I want to thank my team internally. We had an Events DC team of the development team that was led by Will Liebner, who is our project lead, who couldn't be here today. He was supported by Rob Stowe, also by Ryan Conaway as well. And then our consultants with Brailsford and Dunleavy team did an amazing job as well, and I'd like to acknowledge them. Chris Dunleavy, Bill Mikens, Cole Harper, Diego Martinez, and a special thanks also to Sarah Pearlstein, who's their project lead as well. So please give them a round of applause as well. So I will close my opening remarks only to say that it's been a complete honor. I've had the pleasure of working on a lot of large-scale projects in the city, such as the convention center and such as the ballpark. But nothing's been more gratifying to me than this project because of the passion of the community and how it will be transformational for the city. So I thank you all, and I've really been honored to be a part of it. So at this time, I have the distinct pleasure of now introducing many of our guests. I'll first start with a man who probably needs no introduction. Our board has worked tirelessly to support the mayor's vision, but also what that vision should be for a convention and sports authority for the city. They made decisions very quickly, and they were willing to take risks. And there's no one who does that better than our chairman of our board, Mr. Max Brown. Please give him a round of applause.
Good morning or afternoon. I'm not sure where we are. Good morning. First, Greg, I want to thank you and your team for all the work you've done. We've got one of the best CEOs in the country, and I think we owe Greg and his team a round of applause. Greg. I'm honored to be here today. One of the things I love about local government is in our lifetime, you can actually see things happen and get them done. Right, City Administrator Young? You can actually see things happen. 3 years ago, we announced, and the mayor announced her vision to create this great arena. And here we are today, and I couldn't be more proud of being part of this. You know, one of the things I love about sports is it brings people together. Sports brings people together. Like today, it brings a community together. And just building this arena took a team from the community, a team from our DC government, our board who's here. I want to thank Mimsy Lindner, Sherry Doggett, Linda Greenan, Alan Bubis, and any other of our board members. You know, they do such a great job. They don't just show up and watch TV, as my old boss used to say. They actually do the work, and they do great work. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank Ted Leonsis and the folks from Monumental. You know, Ted and Sheila Johnson, who you'll hear from, put his money where his mouth is. It's easy for people to talk a big game, but Ted said, I'd like to come out and contribute to Ward 8 and Congress Heights. And he's here putting his money where his mouth is. Ted, thank you for all that you do for the city. Just quickly, I dropped my son off at college. I'm still sort of in mourning, but I went back to, I've been in Washington 33 years, but I went back to Cleveland, where I'm from. And we've been suffering through bad sports in Cleveland for a while, which you can imagine, right? But I went to the Browns game, 65,000 people who work and live in that city, and to see the excitement about winning a game and how they rally behind their team, which really is an extension of the city. And we saw this here in Washington with our Capitals. We saw it with our Mystics, who had an amazing run this year. Thank you, guys. We're going to see it with the Capital City Go-Go. I told Pops Mensubansu, who I used to root for when I was at GW, that if you need a shooting guard, I'm a little slow, but I can still shoot. Pops, we're going to see Capital City Go-Go here do great work, and we're excited about that. And finally, we wouldn't be here without the mayor. So one of the great things about Facebook, it has memories, and it shows up. 3 years ago, about 2 days ago, we said we're going to do this arena. And through the mayor's vision and her team, Deputy Mayor Brian Kenner and his team, but the mayor's vision to make this a reality, she put her back into it, leaned into it, said, let's create jobs. Let's make sure we keep the money here in Ward 8. Let's make sure we keep the money east of the river. Let's make sure that we're sensitive to the people who live here so we don't just show up and not contribute, but we foster a sense of community and collaboration, which we've done. We work closely with Mary Cuthbert and our friends in the ANC. Thank you for being part of this. It's a collaboration and a partnership. We appreciate it. But we wouldn't be here without the mayor. And Mayor, I am so honored to be part of your team, honored to be here, and honored to recognize you and introduce you. Our Mayor, Muriel Bowser.
Well, good afternoon, Congress Heights. Good afternoon, Ward 8. Welcome to our entertainment and sports arena. There are many people to thank, and I want to just closely associate myself with the remarks of Greg Odell, who has just been a phenomenal leader of Events DC, attracting visitors, sports, and entertainment to the best city in the world. Let's give it up for Events DC. I also want to acknowledge my big deal team. And my big deal team is the Deputy Mayor's Office for Planning and Economic Development, Brian Kenner and his team. Let's hear it for them. And to the members of the council who know good economic development when they see it and are proud to stand up for Ward 8 and moving jobs, economic development, and sports right here. Jack Evans, Brandon Todd. I also want to acknowledge Kenya McDuffie and Trayon White. Give them a big round of applause. My friend and the former Ward 8 council member, LaRuby May, is also here, who made sure this project got to the council. Thank you, LaRuby May. I know that the ANC commissioners had an opportunity to stand up and speak up for Ward 8 during this process. And I knew when it was a threat at the council to limit its budget, to threaten its progress, that the people of Ward 8 wouldn't let that happen. So I want to thank the people of Ward 8, led by their ANC commissioners. Thank you very much, the commissioners of Ward 8. And I'll turn to our partners in this, our other partners, Events DC and Monumental Sports, in just 1 second. I have a long list of notes. But as I was sitting there, and let me also acknowledge our former First Lady, Cora Masters-Berry, who's right in the front. As I was sitting here, I was thinking back to a time, not 3 years ago, but a time 4 or 5 years ago, when I was going door to door in neighborhoods across Ward 8 talking about my vision for our city. I wouldn't be exaggerating to say that there was some skepticism about this girl from Ward 4 being able to represent all 8 wards of Washington, D.C. What I heard over and over again from people is, I don't know about you, Bowser, because a lot of people come here during the election, and then they never come back, or we don't see them again. I promised myself, and I promised Mr. Berry, they'll never say that about me, because the promises that we make in Ward 4, 5, 6, we make in Ward 7 and 8 and 1, 2, and 3 as well. Our city moves forward when all parts of our city move forward. When I came into office, we really didn't have a path forward for the St. Elizabeth's campus. We didn't have a major tenant. And in order for the entire development to happen, affordable housing, home ownership opportunities, jobs and retail, connections to the metro and public space, entertainment and sports, we had to have a big investment. And that big investment, just like it was in Chinatown, just like it was at Buzzard Point, just like it was at the Wharf, had to come from Washington, D.C. and the taxpayers of the District of Columbia. So we took a bet on Congress Heights. And doesn't Congress Heights deserve it? Doesn't Congress Heights deserve it? If anybody tells you that we spent too much money on Congress Heights, you tell them to come see me. Because what we did, you heard Greg, we put Ward 7 and 8 businesses to work. And what's wrong with that? Ward 7 and 8 businesses put Ward 7 and 8 residents to work. And what's wrong with that? And what you're going to see, what I've just seen, is also a huge investment from our sports partners in an underrepresented group, and that's women athletes. I know when I look around the city, I don't just see little boys playing basketball. I see little girls playing basketball too. When I go in our schools, I don't just see little boys wanting to compete. I see little girls wanting to compete too. And when I'm looking at our sports journalists writing about championship runs in Washington, D.C., they're talking about the Washington Mystics too. So what we have today, ladies and gentlemen, is the home of the Washington Mystics. We also have home of the capital city Go-Go. And every day during the season, the Washington Wizards are going to come here, not downtown, to practice and make sure they're ready for their games and their season, right here in Ward 8. So I just want to, once again, congratulate everybody involved, our architects, engineers, construction workers, the accountants, the insurance people, everybody that's involved in bringing a project like this out of the ground. I want to invite you to continue to watch our progress as we have affordable housing coming up as well, and continue to look for other great employers that will bring this complex to life. So I want to once again just say, keep moving, everybody, and the best is really yet to come. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. And it's so easy to see her passion, but also see how it got realized so quickly. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our council member from Ward 8, who's been a champion and helped us really galvanize the support. So please welcome Trayon White. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to say, in the spirit of Muriel, how y'all doing there, Ward 8? Got to keep his spirit alive, because I know he was one of the visionaries, along with our mayor, Muriel, who had this vision in their heart, and it's coming to fruition today. I also want to start off by acknowledging our council members, Jack Evans, Brandon Todd, Kenny McDuffie, our former council member, where is she? LaRuby May. They say she's over there. I haven't seen her yet. But LaRuby May, and our former council member, Miss Sandy Allen. Give them a round of applause as well. We had a great year here in Washington, D.C. I don't want to forget our former mayor for life's wife, Miss Cora Masters-Berry, joined by a friend of mine, Miss Dion Reeder. Give them a round of applause for joining us here today. How about those mystics? How about those mystics? Get these young ladies around and stand up, guys. Stand up. How about those mystics? How about those mystics? And I play basketball right where I used to. I wouldn't dare. You know, I'm one of those guys that offer you up all the time, and I may or may not win, but I'm not afraid. How about those Capitals, guys? Stanley Cup. Hunty. It's putting a lot of pressure on them Wizards. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. I sent John Wall a message last night in his DM saying, man, what's good? My son, who's right here, my nephew, they love to come to the game. We got to get that. We got to get to them finals. Get past LeBron. You know, they didn't stack the deck against us once again. Since February 19th, 2016, there has been 946 days of nonstop energy, time, commitment to seeing this project come to fruition. I often follow a scripture in the Bible. I think it's Proverbs 29:18. It says, where there's no vision, the people perish. And so this is what we call big vision. I'm going to say it again. This is what we call big vision. And it's happening right here in our own Ward 8. See, my family grew up here in Congress Heights. My grandmother, who passed away, her name is Jean Ann Roberts. She should take us to Rehoboth Baptist Church right here across the street. I also played at number 11 Boys and Girls Club, and she also served in the cafeteria at Congress Heights Elementary School. And so this is my community. This is our community. The arena is truly an anchor in the community of wards, not just Ward 8, but also Ward 7. And for far too long, people did not want to invest here in our community. I want to give a special thanks to our mayor, Muriel Bowser. Give her a round of applause. Brian Kenner, our former deputy mayor, Courtney Snowden, Greg Odell, Eric, Max, Ed, Teleonsis, Gil Bain, Smoot, Randy Bowe, and a few, just to name a few, and our ANC commission. I know Ms. Cutbirth is here. Is always going to keep us on point and keep us active in our community. And our former business director, Mr. James Bunn, who also was a pioneer in showing that we have these type of opportunities. I walk on some great shoulders to do this today. If you walk along MLK and Malcolm X, you see a entirely different community. Those who are not engaged, disconnected, that need an opportunity. As we build these big buildings in our community, we must always remember to build on our people. I know Muriel always make fun of me for saying that, but we must always remember to build on the people that were here, the indigenous people of Washington, D.C. And so I'm excited to hear today that MLK Deli, who's ran by Tyrone White, is going to have a business inside this facility. That's big. MLK Deli. I see our school board representative Marcus Bassett is here as well. Then I hear later on today, our own Miles Ross will have the Goodman League going on right here in this building today. While we have the big guys playing over here, Mayor Muriel Bowser and I had a conversation a few years ago about the amount of recreation centers closing our ward. And we partnered to make a commitment to build a brand new recreation center right here in Congress Heights, right across the street, to ensure our young boys and girls, our seniors, have somewhere to go for constructive activities. Because when we don't build something for them constructive to do, we leave something for them to do destructive. And it's important in our vision that we have an all-inclusive community. And I want to thank our partners at Events DC. Greg, where's Greg? In the back. He's been a great guy, y'all. Greg, every time I call on Greg or call on Ed, they answer the phone and they make sure we get what we need in our ward. And so when I heard that we were having a Goodman League up here, I said, come on, Jimmy Black, we need you, baby. We playing. I think we playing against Baltimore or New York, one of them cities, you know. And so I don't want to throw no shade, but I do. One of them locations. And so I'll be back here today, but I do want to say I'm grateful and I'm honored to lead this great ward. And I want to thank so many who participated and put up the brick and mortar. But we also not looking for jobs in the community only, but also looking for business opportunities. We have some great business people here in this ward that has participated and looking forward to participating even more. And I want to thank. I was talking to Commissioner Crawford today, and she said she calls me Trey. I know her since high school, so she can call me Trey. She said, Trey, I want to buy a home here in Ward 8. We want to further our commitment to show that not only can you live here, but you can stay here and benefit here in the long haul. And that's our commitment. This is our D.C. This is our ward. I want to thank everyone who joined us here today. More to come. Thank you, and God bless.
I'd like to introduce our chairman of the Finance and Revenue Committee, who's been a strong supporter of sports, entertainment, and fiscal responsibility in our city. Those both can exist at the same time. Councilmember Jack Evans.
Thank you, Max, and good afternoon, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. Good afternoon. This is a great event out here in Ward 8, right? How exciting it is here to be with all of you to open the entertainment and sports arena here in Congress Heights. And, you know, I always have this line when you're this far down in the program. It's all been said, but not by me. So here we go. But I also have another line I always say, and many of you have followed me over the years. I always talk about, well, we started planning this. The first meeting I had was Ted Leontis, Pierre L'Enfant, and myself. And remember that line? Well, I can't tell that line today. You know why? Because of this mayor. You messed up my line. She messed up my line because she got into office, and that's when we started planning it 4 years ago. And now, 4 years later, not 20 years later, it's done. Give Mayor Bowser a big round of applause. Unbelievable. You messed up my line. Can't use that line again today. So it's great to be here with my colleagues. And again, I want to stress on the City Council with Brandon and Kenyon and Trayon. There were people on the City Council who didn't vote for this thing. Yeah. And people on the City Council who are still giving us a hard time paying for this thing. Okay? Yes. So I want everybody to remember that it takes courage. It takes courage. I'm just saying. But it does take political courage to make hard decisions. And I hearken back to the day. I've been here 28 years on the council. Everybody knows that from the beginning. And I remember when the first of these facilities was planned, and that was, we called it then the MCI Center, now the Capital One Arena. And thank you, Ted, for all the improvements you're making to that. When it opens up next week, we're going to have a whole new Capital One Arena down there. So we can't wait to get down there and see the championship team. But my whole point was, every one of these things, I remember with that, enormous controversy. It would never fit. We shouldn't build it. 7-6 vote on the council. And it was the catalyst that redid downtown. Without it, we don't have what we have there today. The convention center, again, a very close vote on the council. I had this woman follow me around, seriously, in a white elephant costume for 2 years, heckling me everywhere I went because of the convention center. Her name was Debbie Hammerhand. Just pointing that out. I'm not just saying. Followed me around. And how about that baseball stadium? What a bad idea. 7-6 vote on the council 12 times. 12, and it wasn't always the same 7. But somehow we got it built. And look at what it's done. And now another arena. And it is going to do for Congress Heights what those other 3 did for other parts of the city. So everybody's been thanked, so I'm not going to thank everybody again. Has anybody not been thanked? If you haven't been thanked, well, now consider yourself thanked. So there have been so many stalwarts in this and so many people who work so hard. And that's what this is. You know, it takes a village to do something like this. It really does. And the village pulled together. There was a lot of political courage that it took to vote for this, to get it moved forward, to put in the hard work and the energy to get it done. And so here we are today. And I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be prouder for our city, for Congress Heights, for this ward to share in what is going in our city today. And I'll finish with this, just to give you an example of what sports can do. And I always tell that story. When I was on the council in 1996, the city hit a bottom. We became the only major city in America to not have one professional sports franchise in our border. There was not a one. And I made a commitment we were going to get every one. And we changed. Abe brought back they were the Bullets at the time, the Wizards and the Caps. The Mystics started, the DC United. And we brought a baseball team from Montreal. We're working on that last team somewhere out there. We're working on that team. And Ted, you got a couple of new teams. I can't even remember all the sports you're in. We have like this arena team and some team that people come to watch people play on the video game or something. I'm not sure how that all works. But nonetheless, we got all those sports teams. We got everything in the District of Columbia. And so at the fifth game of the Stanley Cup playoffs, remember the fifth game, we had a sold-out arena, 22,000 people in the arena. We had 50,000 people on the streets watching the game, and the team was playing in Las Vegas. That shows how a winning team can bring an entire city together. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Jack. And such a great segue, actually, for our next speaker. You know, Monumental Sports has meant so much in terms of the excellence of sports in our city and our community. But I think it's much more than that. It's really their commitment and how they represent themselves so that when they do win a championship, it's so much more meaningful to all of us. So I want to personally thank Ted for his commitment to the city on behalf of all of us here for what he's done. But I also want to thank him for when our workers needed it most, when we were working on this project, he personally came out and rallied all of them to make sure there was that extra boost to get this project done, which is a testament to who he is. So without further ado, please, I welcome Ted Leonsis to give some remarks.
Thank you. There's so many speakers, so I'm going to go off script. Before we came out, I was waiting for the mayor, and she wheeled in her beautiful daughter, Miranda. And it was a miracle. It was a miracle to see that bond between mother and daughter, and it reminded me of my mother. And my mother was very spiritual, and she would talk to me about miracles. She was a woman of great faith, and I wasn't as much. And I would say, Mom, I believe in miracles. I just don't believe in planning for them. And we would debate that all the time, and my mother was right. We can have miracles, and we certainly can plan for them, because this is a miracle, that we were able to have Events DC and our city and all the people at Monumental and everyone in the community come together and get this world-class building stood up. And when I was growing up and going to college here, I always heard, don't go down near 10th Street. And whatever you do, don't go to Ward 8. I was warned. This was not a place that you would want to spend time with. Now we have an MLK Deli. And you are the only community, we are the only community to call home an NBA, a WNBA, and a G League franchise in the entire country. We have shot past every other neighborhood. This is truly a world-class building. And as Jack so eloquently stated, nothing brings a community closer together than a winning sports team. And we want to win an NBA championship. We want to win a WNBA championship. We want to win a G League championship. And it's not a selfish act. It's a surrendering to the community act. We saw that with the Caps delivering the Stanley Cup. And for a city that is sometimes torn apart, to be able to play a role as a uniting force, I think was the most important thing that we've ever accomplished in our careers and our life. And we want to do that with our WNBA franchise and our G League franchise. It warmed my heart. It was a miracle to walk inside and see a Wizards big, huge logo right next to a WNBA Mystics logo. We believe in equality. We believe in giving back. And so I can't tell you how wonderful it feels to be a part of this. And MedStar to support us the way they're doing, our partners, and we are going to bring our partners to Ward 8. I couldn't agree more as a councilman that this is about business. And we want to be in a double bottom line business. We want to do really, really well, and we think we can do well by doing good. And so we are very committed to supporting philanthropy in this community and supporting businesses in this community. And we will listen. We will be here all of the time. And I promise you that this will make an opportunity and a platform that the city, that Events DC, that the NBA, WNBA, and G League, and most importantly, all of the people in this community feel like home. Thank you very much.
And I'm also pleased to introduce Ted's partner in monumental sports and the owner of the Washington Mystics, Sheila Johnson.
Thank you, everyone. Boy, is this an amazing day. Ted, I have to say it's been an honor since 2007 to be a partner with you in monumental sports. He's an incredible man, just absolutely incredible. And I want to thank Max and Greg from the Events DC and, of course, Muriel Bowser, Mayor Bowser, for continued commitment to this transformative project for the District of Columbia. At Monumental, we are so thrilled to be a part of this project that we believe will play such a significant role in the community here in Congress Heights. Our commitments towards 8 and 9 is so much bigger than basketball, and we are so excited about the potential of this space to become the real community center and a space to highlight and celebrate this neighborhood. And as president of the Mystics, I am particularly proud to be helping cut the ribbon on this beautiful new facility that will be our Mystics home. The Mystics now become the only team in the WNBA with their own practice facility and game arena. Do you hear that, New York? This will be incredible for both Mystics players and our fans. The game experience is going to be intense, intimate, but really energetic. And this is a building that will help showcase everything that is great about WNBA basketball. You know, the Mystics had an incredible season. I was with them every bounce of the ball and every step of the way. And I wish our coach, Mike Tebow, was here because he is just absolutely incredible. And, of course, along with all the stars, every one of our players are stars. And we had Elena Deladon, Christy Tolliver, and I want Tierra Ruffin Pratt to stand up and Natasha Cloud. Do you hear? I am so proud of all of our players. For us to get to the finals was just amazing. It was an adrenaline rush, and they showed grit, resiliency through the playoffs, and earned themselves a spot in the WNBA finals. Thank you very much. I really can't wait to see what you're going to do next year. It's going to be great. So we can't wait for our fans to come over here and experience this new arena. I walked in there about an hour ago, and it feels right, Ted. It's absolutely right. And after playing at GW and having the crowd right there with us and cheering, we needed that because we were playing in a huge facility at Capital One, and we have great fans, and we could hear them, but we would lose them. But to have them right there with us, the intimacy of this arena is going to be magical. So I want to thank you again, Mayor Bowser and Events DC, for all the hard work that you all have put into making this facility possible. And again, thank you, Ted, for being such a great leader.
All right, so next we're going to have, and certainly he is worthy of batting cleanup, our Deputy Mayor of Planning and Economic Development. Brian has been tremendous in terms of actually realizing the mayor's dream. He probably, of the most of us, is responsible for doing that. So please, without further ado, please give a big round of applause for Brian Kenner, Deputy Mayor of Planning and Economic Development.
Whenever I go on after Greg, I got to put the mic down. I don't know if anybody saw that. Thank you all again. I've only got two things to say. I think I'm the last speaker between us and actually being able to cut the ribbon. One is to make sure that I give voice to some people who aren't up here but played an incredibly important role in making sure that this project happened. On our team in particular, we have Susan Longstreet, our lawyer, who negotiated at length with multiple parties to make sure that it happened. Sarosho Padwala, our director of real estate development, back there to make sure that we were able to get a good project done. Shonda Washington and Jessica Carroll on the communication side, thank you all very much. Ingrid Wilson and Sandra Villarreal, thank you for all of your efforts to make sure that this project occurred. I know that I saw Catherine Buell, one of our former St. Elizabeth's executive directors, is here today as well. Thank you, Catherine, for your work in doing this. Two people in particular. We have our executive director for the St. Elizabeth's project, Ed Fisher, and his partner in crime, James Parks, and I want to have them stand and really be recognized for all the work that they did to make sure that this project occurred. We've got Rashad Young, our city administrator, who made sure that we had all the things we always needed to get this project completed. And I think most of the other thank yous for additional partners has been made. You know, when I look out in this crowd, one of the things that I'm interested by is I see people literally from all over the city. I don't just see people who are Ward 8 or east of the river. I see literally people who are saying to themselves, this is significant, because it is. This is a step in a direction, not only as it relates to sports and entertainment in the District of Columbia, but really an opportunity for us to recatalyze and redevelop this campus. This mayor had a charge for us, which is we need to have a new direction for the St. Elizabeth's East campus. Literally right across the street, if you look right over there, we're going to be breaking ground on the multifamily units next month, right there. People will be living on this campus. We are going to also be breaking ground on our townhouse project. People will be owning homes on this campus. The vision for what this will eventually be, which is a mixed-use place, a place where the community can benefit, a place where jobs will be created, a place where affordable housing will be created, a place where right now we are not generating any tax revenue from this land, that we will be able to have this land contribute to the tax rolls of the District of Columbia, providing schools, police, health, and other services. That is why we do projects like this. So I'm just very happy to have been a part of it. I remember literally the day that we started talking about this, and to see it happen. I'm not a very emotional person generally, as most people know, but this is something that means something very much to me, and I thank you all for making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. In closing, we just want to say two things. Now that this time is here, we're going to have our actual ribbon cutting. We're formally transitioning to our operations team, so I do want to thank two people that are making it happen. So Eric Moses from our sports entertainment division, who's running operations. They will start operating this building. And Chinyeti Hubbard, who's doing marketing, PR, and community engagement, is responsible for this today. So please give both of them a round of applause as well. If the press would please go, there is a press pit. If you'll go right in front of the ribbon cutting or prepare.
Okay, in honor of Ward 8, we're counting down from 8. 8, 7, 6,